All right, good afternoon, everybody. It's Jay again, and this is a question that I really never thought to put into a video before because I always kind of assumed that people knew what they were doing or had an idea of why they were watering or when they were watering, and really what my theory is on what time of the day that you should be watering your plants. Okay, well, it's about 2 p.m. and you can see that the water has come on around here. Wow, look at that pretty mango. And so I'm always asked, well, what time do I water? And I'll kind of give you my theory on this. And that is I water the plants when they need it the most. Okay, and what that means is basically right in the middle of the afternoon is when you have the most heat in your yard, and that is about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock is when the majority of the heat starts to come on. So that's when I've got the watering system coming on. So if you think about it like this, if you think about it like the plants, like yourself as a human, okay, so these plants are stuck out here all day long, okay? They can't move, they can't crawl under another tree for shade, okay? So a lot of them are just kind of stuck out there in the full sun, and if you watch the plants, they droop down the worst at about 2 or 3 o'clock, and then they'll start to perk back up again. So it's just like you in the morning, you know, you get up, if you have a drink just in the morning, well, about middle of the day or towards the evening, you start getting thirsty. If you give them a drink in the evening, well, then they're going to soak up a little bit during the night, during the evening, because they're more or less kind of going to sleep. In fact, a lot of the plants, you know, like the tamarind and whatnot, they'll close up their leaves at night, and so they virtually kind of go to sleep. So giving them a drink at night doesn't really seem to affect those type plants. So the most help seems to be given when you give the plants a drink here at about 2 o'clock, when it's the worst, because they can come on, the heat comes on in the morning, starts coming on about 11 o'clock, and they start getting thirsty. And so they need a drink there at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You give them a nice drink, and now they can sustain for the rest of the afternoon with absolutely no problems. So then the other two questions I get is, well, won't the water that's coming on, won't it burn the leaves of the plants? And I'll tell you, the water is on the plant so in such a small amount of time that it doesn't even have time to burn the plant. I mean, if a plant gets wet, like you can see that all these plants get wet underneath here, right? And it splashes on the leaves and all kinds of horrible stuff that's supposed to happen. But I'm telling you, these things look absolutely beautiful, and even down where they're getting wet, it doesn't affect the plants. It just keeps it nice and cool down in here. So by coming on at this time period, oh look, little goji berries. By coming on this time period, it quenches them right in the middle of the day when they need it the most. And the other thing that I get is, well, isn't the water that's coming out of the pipes and out of the irrigation super hot? Well, it's only hot for a second or 2 seconds, and then it comes out of here so cold, you can barely get into it, okay? Because all the pipes are kept where it's all nice and cool underneath all the plants. So what time of the day do I like to water them? I like to water them in the middle of the day when they look the worst, when they look like hell, when they've kind of shrunk down or they're kind of drooping down a little bit, and they really need a drink to perk them up for that time period. So is it right? I don't know. There's really no definitive right and wrong in the world of growing plants, it seems. As long as you can get your way to work, then that is the right way. But the way that I do it is I've got all my water coming on and cooling down my plants right in the middle of the day, because it's sort of cool in the morning anyway. They stay sort of cool till about 11. They start getting thirsty. The heat comes on, give them a drink, they'll perk right up. You'll see it. You'll see it in 15 minutes. The plants will perk right up again, as though they've never suffered from any water loss. And they'll look stunning in about 15 minutes after that, and then they'll look stunning for the rest of the day. So that is what time that I irrigate, and it seems to be working for me just fine. All the plants are extremely happy. They're all putting on tons of fruit. Look at all these longans. And these mangoes. I mean, just mangoes for days. It's beautiful. So it works for me. It works well for me. I get a lot of fruit around here, like you guys know. And that is the watering schedule that I do. I do every other day for 5 minutes. Those water sprinklers that you saw back there, they'll come on for 5 minutes every other day, and they'll quench the entire yard, and everything gets a nice drink. And it's the same thing as all the stuff that I have out here in pots. They get a 5-minute drink every other day, and these guys are just sitting out here in the full sun, just getting blasted on, and they look good. Man, they look good. All these out here in the full sun because they're properly irrigated, and they're also in the correct size pots. But these things just look amazing. Every one of them. Every plant. And we're here in the middle of June. Middle of June, full sun. And everything is green and beautiful. Full sun, no shade. Because you guys aren't going to put them in the shade. You guys are going to put them all in the full sun. So there's no reason for me to grow these with any kind of shade over them. And then have you guys cook them as soon as you get them in your yard. So I get them fully acclimated to the full sun, and then they can take it in you guys' yard when you put it out in the middle of the yard, because I realize that a lot of you don't have a microclimate or any kind of a shade, so you need really strong plants. So these guys get it. They get the full sun, no shade. You got to be able to keep these things alive without having giant shade screens everywhere, all over the place. You just got to maintain the plants and be able to give them good water and good soil so that they can maintain good looking plants. And man, I tell you what, I get the fruit. I get the fruit around here. Look at these beautiful tropic peaches, tropic snow peaches. Oh my gosh. So yeah, guys, that's my watering schedule. I water every other day at 2 p.m. And I think I've got pretty good results around here. All right, guys, and no leaf burning. No salt burning. Every leaf's perfect in this place. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Water whenever you feel like it, but just make sure you water. All right, guys, thanks for watching.